see you and I hear you now. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'll tilt this thing down so you can see.
Stay here for a minute.
Okay.
Until we.
Yeah.
So my name is Rochelle Newton, and I am a technology manager at Duke Law. And so I'd like to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself, including your name, anything you want to share about you personally that will help us get to know you.
Okay. My name is Tamar Frankel. I am an old woman. I am an Israeli born who came here about 50 years ago. Well, less than that, 30, my age. And then I was a law teacher, professor of law at Boston University. I graduated from Harvard, got my SJD then, LLM. The LLM first, then the SJD.
Can I ask you a question? Can you ask your husband to tilt your calendar, your camera? Because all I see is from your eyes up. I don't see your whole face.
I'm gonna get something you can see.
Okay, I'll get up.
Okay.
Can you see me now?
Now I only see you from the nose down.
Okay, so we'll get something in which I can sit a bit higher.
Okay.
And I need a cushion.
Here we go.
All right, let's see how it is now. Okay.
Much better. Much better.
Move back just a little bit, honey.
Yeah, move back just, yeah, there you go, just there.
There you go, honey. And she can hear you
Wait
too.
a minute. I have to do this and this. Okay.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's great. Isn't it wonderful to have a companion to help us through our struggles?
It's magic.
Magic. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please go back. Finish telling us about your SJD and your LLM.
I taught corporations, trusts, and estates, but my main expertise was really mutual funds, the Investment Company Act, the Investment Advisors Act. I wrote 12 books and about 100 and so articles. And what interests me is trusting. I wrote a book about trusting around the world. What I found is that this book has legs of its own. And it's in Japan and in China. I did go to Japan. I taught there for a year. I was in China and taught there for less, but continued having students. Now, is there anything in particular that you want to know about me so that I don't spread 95 years and waste very valuable time?
So are you 95 years old?
I will be on the 4th of July.
Happy birthday. That was my mother's birthday. Happy birthday.
I must admit, when I came here and everybody was celebrating, I said, wait a minute, it can't be.
Well, happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. So you're married. How long have you and your husband been married?
Oh, about 30 years.
Wow.
I had 2 other husbands. Both of them died.
I'm sorry. And do you have children?
I have children. I have 2. I have a daughter and a son. But the daughter has 5 children. My son has 1. And I'm connected. My husband was also married before, the current husband. And we are very good family together. My son and his son are really like that together. And so are the children and grandchildren.
Okay.
We were lucky.
Very lucky. And when we get off this chat, please send me a list of the books so I can go buy them and find them, because I would love to read them. I love to read, and anything I can find that's interesting, I would love to have.
Well, the last book may be of interest to you because it's living in different cultures. And it gives a description of a father who is Germanic and a mother who is Russian. Both of them Jewish, and a variety What is that?
That's all your books and your
Oh,
CD and everything if you want to
then
talk about.
we will email it
Okay.
to her. It's
Absolutely,
too many books to
Yeah.
but I lived with very different food, manners, you name it. Father was a lawyer and happened at the end to be the president of the Israeli bar. Mother was a health nurse. Very different cultures, but they loved each other.
Yeah.
And they managed to put it together. So I had a very good model of how people can live together. What has to be merging them and what doesn't have to be merging them.
Okay.
And afterwards, you know, a German doctor who married a Yemenite girl, and the child was beautiful with blue eyes and a darker skin. It was lovely.
Yes.
It goes on. And the same thing about arguments. You learn a lot. Jews learn a lot about arguments by arguments. Here, you have to win. There, you have to induce the other, bring him over. It's a very different kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
You are Jewish,
oh yes.
and is your husband?
No, my former two husbands were Jewish.
But this husband is not.
Well, he's not. However, we agreed, you know, I have a mezuzah on my door. I do, sometimes I used to do Pesach. I used to do, so, and I go to his family and they have Christmas. Okay, we found a way, each of us, to feel comfortable. And
That makes sense.
yeah, instead of saying either I or you or nothing. That's not right.
Perfect. Let me ask you this. Were you or any of your family members caught up in the Holocaust?
No, luckily. However, I think two cousins of, well, let me put it this way. I was, during that time, very active. We wanted to bring the rest of people to us. And the British did not allow it. And so at night, we would drag people on our backs in the water and then bring them, but also see some things that really made my blood boil.
Yeah.
For example, many of them had their hand over the plates when they ate. And I would say to one of them, I remember, don't worry, we're not taking it away from you. And he said, I know, but it is more comfortable to me. I'm not a bloodthirsty person.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was so angry and anguish. There was a lot of anguish. We asked also, there was a man called Abba Kovner, and he was in Ghetto Warsaw, and he saw a great deal. And people from the Haganah met with him. And we asked him, how come people allowed that? And the answer was, it didn't come, it was, you need something, you need to put a yellow mark, you can live with that. You don't have to go on this, you live with that. You don't have to have a telephone in your house, you can live with that. And that's, we learned something. We don't give an inch.
Right.
And that we continue to do.
Yes.
And that's, I continue to do. And now I'll tell you, when I came here, I was the first woman at Boston University Law School. And the law faculty was divided. Some wanted a woman, some didn't want a woman, you know. Yeah. So I didn't even realize it at the beginning, but then I found out, somebody would walk the corridor and talk about second-rate minds.
Yeah.
And everybody knew it meant me,
Yeah.
The result was the dean wanted a woman, There were 6 women students out of 150 or so, or 100 at BU.
Mhm.
So obviously, they were a minority, a big minority.
Mhm.
I didn't care to be one of the group. I cared about writing. I was writing my doctoral thesis at the time. And so when they put me in the library downstairs in the basement, that was great for me because I didn't have to put the books back on the shelf.
Mhm.
But somebody came to the dean and said, "Get her out of there."
Mhm.
And so I was elevated to the first floor. What I mean there was one case in which somebody said, "You Jews."
Mhm.
And being an Israeli, I answered, "Of course you are not satisfied. We are smarter than you, we are hardworking than you, and we are also courageous than you are." And he was so flabbergasted.
Mhm.
And that was the end of it. Never again. We became friends because I played the piano very well. He loved music. Okay, we had a contact. I think I talked too much. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. That's a wonderful story. I think it leads me to my next question, but I think I know the answer, but let me just ask you. So discrimination and racism and stereotypes based on physical constructs.
No. Do I know? Did I experience?
Yes, did you experience?
No, but I knew how to shoot so well. I was an underground member. And when I came here, that I tell you, I came with my 3-year-old and we went to the Luna Park. And there was, those dolls that were flowing and you had to shoot to get one. And he wanted one. So I said, "Okay, give me the rifle." And there were 2 men who were standing there, and I remember they were snickering. So I took, I shot, I got it, and I gave them, and I looked around, and they were gone. And that was it. I was a good shot,
Excellent.
but I didn't kill.
That's good.
No, but the feeling. I should send you this book if you email to me your address, because that book describes also women
Please,
in
please.
Israel, and you could see, instead of my telling you,
Yeah.
you could read it. By the way, I'm now I'm editing another book of teaching. I want to teach
Again.
cultures.
Excellent.
I won't teach, but at least there will be a book about living in different cultures.
Absolutely. I'm putting my address in the chat right now, so you will have it, so you can have it to talk to me. Let me go back to the question that I asked, though. So when you shared about being in the basement and about the things people have said to you, you did not equate that to discrimination or racism, just ignorance, or just
Well,
comments that people make?
I didn't focus on it. When you come and you are so sure of yourself and you were treated so well, by the way, I was brought here to Harvard by Professor Louis Loss, and whatever they thought about me, he was there, and there was no way they could have really. So when I came to BU, they don't like me. That's their problem, not mine.
Amen.
So the whole attitude was different. I didn't want to be part of the group.
Right.
What do I care?
Yeah.
I don't care. I wanted to write. I wanted to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't want to be part of, as a matter of fact, I couldn't stand being, you know, on the management groups where people blah, blah, blah for, I looked at the watch, I had a child, I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no interest in being, you know, accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
They felt it too.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you see any similarities between the experiences of those who went through the Holocaust and the experiences of Africans in slavery? You see any similarities or any commonalities between the two instances?
The point is that Holocaust was by the government,
Mm-hmm.
and the danger was death.
Mm-hmm.
The discrimination that I saw and experienced also was about evaluation, reputation of a woman. And by the way, in finance, my goodness, how come? I didn't want to teach. I wasn't interested in family law, but everybody thought that's what I would teach, right? Wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, but background is important. It depends how you're raised. If you're raised to be a flower and to gain a husband that will be your food,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's one thing. I was not raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
Neither are both my daughter and my son.
Mm-hmm.
They simply don't understand when they came here. Yes. So I think that makes a difference. It's the culture around you, and it's the way you are brought up.
Mm-hmm. So does that mean you don't have any thoughts about slavery and the impact of that and how it still has little traces of it still in American life?
I think it does. I think it's that is where we talk about culture.
Mm-hmm.
That is what culture is like law, except it's another system.
Mm-hmm.
It has another rules and it has another enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
But it is. So the answer is, by the way, I couldn't understand why Yemenites who are dark, yes, should be treated differently. We never did understand that.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to help them come. We saved them. I'll never, you know, instead of wasting valuable time, you'll read it also in the book.
Okay.
But there was one thing which brought all of us together, and that may have been the danger.
Mm-hmm. Danger. Yep.
And the danger meant that everyone is going to take a risk, but save the others.
Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. So how long has it been since you taught? When did you retire from teaching, if you have retired?
Well, to some extent I haven't, of course, but to some extent I retired about a year ago. I was 95. I am now 95. I think I was 93 and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
However, what is happening is, number one, former students contact me.
Mm-hmm.
Both those who are in America, but also those who are in Japan, in China, and in Europe, in Italy, for example. The other thing, what I found, and that's not my doing, is that my books, for example, I have a book on trust and honesty, America's business culture at the crossroad.
Really?
And I find the citations everywhere.
Yeah.
I had another article on why do we lie. That was a comment on the book. Venezuela has a lot of readership there. So I was very surprised. I never went there, and well, I may have, but so books and ideas have legs of their own.
Yes, they do.
So this is one of. I'm going to be in a webinar.
Mhm.
I wrote something that people do not dare to write. It's about this against the way the Securities and Exchange Commission has politicized. And I say you are fiduciaries and you shouldn't have conflicts of interest. And if you do, now I worked there, by the way, they borrowed me from the university for 2 years.
Mhm.
And so, so I was there, I knew people, and they still call and ask, what should I do? This, that, and the other. So the answer is you have to, I don't know now, I talked so much and I don't know what the question was.
It's okay.
I don't,
It's quite all right.
okay.
It's quite all right. Let me ask you another question. Are you currently familiar what's happening in America to Black and brown people through law enforcement and other such activities?
Yeah, I am
Do
familiar.
you have an opinion about that?
Yes, I do.
Please share.
I think it's wrong. The fact, there are certain police people who were wrongly educated, raised, taught. They had a bad experience with some people where it was easy to identify them.
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
Because they were Black, because they were Hispanic, whatever.
Yeah.
So that they have classified according to that instead of according to what the danger is. But sometimes you can't find out what the danger is
Yes.
until it's too late and you are being shot.
Right.
So I think the culture is not correct, but at the same time, it should be solved that way. Black people, women, all the other different people should recognize what the others are facing.
Mhm.
Now, for example, women were hurt or molested by men. They should know that. They should know how they act. They should know how to react. And I tell you, when you take your foot and hit the right place, that will be the end of the story, if you know what I mean.
I think so, but let me share a little bit about me. So I
Hey, please,
say it one more time.
please.
I am a 61-year-old Black woman. I work for a major university in Durham. I was raised by my paternal aunt, and she had a 4th grade education. And she only had one refrain that she said over and over and over again: get a good education and get out of South Carolina. She said that to me almost every day. Well, I had an aunt that lived in Richmond, Virginia. And so when I got to high school, every summer I would go spend the summer with my aunt in Richmond, Virginia. And at that time, I met my daughter's father, and he and I got married. And my mother, who shares a birthday with you, died on December 2nd, 1977. I was 19 years old. And for various reasons, I left Richmond and I went to Florida to stay with one of my other paternal aunts. And I stayed with her for a while.
Right.
And I've been in IT for now 40 some odd years now, 44, 45 years now. And at that time, I was very new to IT. I probably had 2 years worth of experience, but I had not rode a city bus, if you will, in my life. So, if I traveled on a Greyhound bus. So I had not rode a city bus. And so I'm on this city bus. I get off the stop to my home, which is like 5 blocks. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. and a man raped me in broad daylight. He put a knife to my neck and he raped me, with people standing around and looking and talking and milling about, and raped me. And so when you raise rape, you know, for me, it's such a hard thing to process, because today I still live in that fear of what it was like to be raped. You know, I feel like I am unclean. I feel like that I am not worthy, because some person could come up to me and do this to me and no one do anything about it. And so it affects how I live. So I don't go out at night. I don't go in places that are dark. My husband goes with me almost everywhere I go. I mean, even during the daytime. If you look at the clothes I'm wearing, you only see my face and my hands. And if you could see my feet, I don't expose any part of my body. All of this is the trauma of being raped. And yet, in concert with that, being a Black woman, you know, which I find amazing to hear your story, coming here, teaching, and all the things and travel you doing, and you've not experienced true discrimination or racism, is exactly.
Oh, I did to some extent, but go ahead.
But is the exact opposite of my experience. I know people who have jobs that are, you know, chief information officers or chief technology officers who have less education, less experience than I do. But I'm classified as an angry Black woman. And so my ability to advance and grow is limited. For your children, I'm willing to bet both you and your husband have a legacy you can leave your children. Not only just your lives, but assets, you know, houses, money, stocks, lands, whatever. For many Black people, when my mother died, I was 19 years old. She left me a small bag of money that might have amounted to $3 of sterling silver coins. And that made me become a coin collector. I collect to this day. From every part of the world, wherever I can get it. Anybody going anywhere, send me some money and I'll pay you back. But I feel like Mr. Floyd died under the care of law enforcement. So I don't physically have anybody with their knee on my neck. But mentally and emotionally, I feel like someone has their knee on my neck every single day of my life. Even doing these diversity chats that I'm doing, I'm risking whether I will have a job, because my job may find this is not appropriate use of my talents, if you will. You know, they may say, well, you know, we don't like this, so we're going to let you go, you know. And so unlike you, where you've had a very illustrious career and it sounds fabulous, I wish I could have been with you on the journey, because it sounds like an amazing journey from there to where you are today. I have no such thing. And I am so glad that you are here with me today, because I am learning things that I didn't know. And I will say, I put my address and my phone number in the chat. Please put yours in there, your email address and all that, so I can send to you. And any books you don't want, ship them my way. I will pay the cost of transport. I love to read. I probably have close to 2,500 books. I read, and I read a book a week. I love to read, you know, so your story is very valuable to me. It does not hit the mark of what this chat is about, but it is very valuable to see the differences and the advantages some have where others do not. So thank you for doing this with me. And I'd like to add, we have about 5 minutes, and I'm going to give it to you to say whatever it is you want us to know or to share about your life or what you are thinking or anything. So 5 minutes, all yours.
Okay. I'm going to send me your address, and I'll send you the exact address, and I'll send you the book. That's number one. Number two, I'm now writing, as I told you, a teaching book. Mm-hmm. And what I would appreciate very much is when I finish it, I want, by the way, the students to tell their story.
Yeah.
That they will know each other's story.
Right.
And but any comments from you would be tremendously valuable.
Absolutely.
And what you don't like, tell me. I have no pride of authorship. I want to learn, not to command. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. So it would be tremendously valuable if you would do that.
Absolutely, I will. Whatever you need, I will.
Please give me your address so that I can, because I may not have it or I may have not the right one.
Can you
And
ask your husband to look in the chat and you'll see it has my name, my address, and my cell phone.
Where is
So,
that?
so if you look at the bottom of your screen, you see where it says your mic.
Oh, then I will find it.
And you see
My
where it says
husband will
chat.
find it.
You see where it says chat? You see the word chat down there? If you click on that,
Chat.
you see what I put in there, and that's my address and my cell phone.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you don't get it before we end this conversation, it'll go away. So, have your husband look at the chat before we end our
All
conversation.
right.
And I'm happy to do whatever you
What
need.
I would very much appreciate is if I could send you some of the, I do now a student book
Yeah.
that refers to the other one, like we always do. And any comment will be very valuable, but also will get recognition. I don't believe in taking something without giving value to it. And so, to some extent, we will work together.
Absolutely.
That will be tremendous for me too.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to
And
do
for
that.
the students, I
Yeah.
want them to learn also.
Yeah.
For example, the arguments can be very valuable or can be something that you hit each other.
Mhm.
People have to, students have to understand that. So this is really what I would so appreciate if you would agree to read it. It's not very long, by the way, the book itself, and neither will the teaching book.
Absolutely. Anything you need from me, all you have to do is just call or email me, and I'm right there. So nothing
Thank
else.
you.
Let me tell you one little thing about that, though, which is really
Yes.
phenomenal to me. At my university, I have been trying now for the last 5 years to teach a class. To teach a class. I want to be an adjunct faculty. So
Right.
my background and my experience is technology, right? So I've put this course together called Gender, Poverty, and Race Through the Lens of Technology. And every person I presented it to has said, no, it has no place in here. But when I speak on it, do a webinar, or I talk to a group about it, oh my God, we need this. We need this now. But yet and still, my institution doesn't see it as valuable.
Why don't they want? Do they give an explanation?
They'll say, so one of the groups I submitted my course to said that my course touched too much on subjects that they already taught, such as the digital
Too
divide.
much what?
Touched too much on subjects they already taught, such as the digital divide. Now, I no discrimination, no disrespect, but I can't understand how a white man could know more about the digital divide than I do, because I experienced the digital divide. I have kids, I have family members, but I've been turned down for that. Or this is not a course that we feel is appropriate in this school or whatever. I had one of the deans of one of the other schools send an email to my boss's dean and say, your worker sent this to me and this is not appropriate. And then I got chastised and said, well, you can no longer push this course out without giving pre-approval by somebody in your organization. So when I tell you about the knee on my neck, the knee is always on my neck, figuratively, not literally, but figuratively, because no matter what I try to make myself better, there are those who want to make sure that I can't. So I am happy to do whatever you need me to do. I am a good wordsmither. I'm trying to write my own book. So anything you need, I'm happy to do.
Well, two things. Number one, let me see whether whatever you have fits into that book. Then we will become joint authors.
Absolutely. I'll send that to you.
That may be helpful to you. I don't know how much, but it may be.
Yeah. Please ask your husband to put your email address in the chat. Please ask your husband to put your email address in our chat so I can have a way to contact you.
Oh,
yes.
Sure.
Yes.
I'll give you. You don't have my email address?
I might, but I've got so many things going on at the same time. It's and I think I have it because
it's tfrankel@bu.edu.
T Frankel
@bu.edu.
@bu.edu.
I'll send it to you, but I don't understand.
I got it.
Did we have the agreement to talk?
Yes.
Was there anybody else who had the agreement to talk with me?
Not that I know of, but have you been to my channel? Have you seen the
To what?
talks? Have you been to my channel? Have you seen the talks I've done to date?
Yes.
I mean,
There was no one else. Okay. So that is.
I'm gonna put my channel in the chat too, so you can have that. You can see. Right now,
I would like that.
we are probably at maybe 30 conversations in total. So I am putting that in our chat right now, so you can have it, and you can go look at the site and see what people have said to date. You know, various conversations. It's pretty powerful. I'm absolutely amazed by some of the things I've learned. I've learned so much. So, and even talking with you.
From what?
From the various conversations with people.
Oh.
including my time with you. I learned, and that's, to me, is really what's most important, is that we learn and we understand how to advance change versus, you know, shouting and screaming and all of that, but to talk, you know, as you said, arguments that help us get understanding.
Yes. Yes. I want to learn.
Me too. Always want to learn.
And I want to learn, and the fact is, I don't care how old, how famous, that doesn't matter. What matters is if I don't know something or I never thought about it this way.
Right.
I absorb it.
Right.
I don't care who.
Right.
Okay, so let's do it this way. Read it and see what you can. As a matter of fact, what part of that book fits into America.
Okay, I will do that.
And I think then we can find a way to bring it together, because that book is not yet, the teaching book is not yet published, but I have a publisher who will do that.
Okay, excellent.
No problem. So see. Okay?
Thank you so much for this talk.
Thank you.
Thank your husband for helping us get it all together. And I hope we have many more chats. I really do. And
amen.
Before I end this, is your husband near you?
Ray? Yeah. He is near me.
Ask him to come to the computer, look at the computer. Hi, Ray, how are you? I'm Rochelle.
We're fine. Glad to, I've been in another room, but I've heard bits and pieces of the conversation. It sounds like it's been a very deep and worthwhile connection.
It absolutely is. In your wife's Zoom, can you click on the chat? You see down there where it says chat down at the bottom of the screen?
I can, yes.
Click on that.
Okay.
And do you see my name and my email address and my cell phone?
I do. I see your, I don't see I do, yes. Your cell phone.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I can print this off. Just a moment.
Okay, and also is my channel, so your wife can watch her video and videos of others. So that's the next thing, the thing that says YouTube. That's this is the channel for the chats.
Okay, that sounds great. I thought I could print it off. Maybe.
Why don't you sit down?
Just a second, hon. Let me see if I can print it off here real quick so we have it.
Do you have a Mac or a Windows computer?
I have a Mac.
Okay, so you can do Command-Shift-4 and highlight the area that you want. Command-Shift-4, or hold all 3 characters down at the same time. Command-Shift-4 of the chat, and it'll take a screenshot of everything that you have.
Okay, great. I think, let me see if there's another, just a moment. I was going to be able to get it another,
So
I thought I could get it another way, but anyway, can we just, is there an easier way of getting this? Or
I'll send your wife an email. I'll send your wife an email with all that.
Okay. I wish I could be more helpful here. Okay. Rochelle, thank you so much.
Thank you both very much. Thank you so much. And I look forward to talking and working with you again. Thank you again. Stay safe.
Okay.
And I mean, 95, you look gorgeous for 95. I mean, absolutely.
Yes, I second the motion.
Yes,
Wait a minute. it will get into my head and I'll begin like that.
That's all right.
No good.
You deserve it. You are gorgeous. 75 and absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So that's a
Thank you
blessing
very
from God.
much, Michelle.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
absolutely.
We'll keep in touch.
I
I will get
absolutely,
my books
absolutely would.
immediately, and then
Yeah.
we talk some more.
Okay. Thank you so much. You all stay safe and be well.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.